Okay, another Josh cast. Horrible. Had a horrible set yesterday. It's always Thursday nights. There's something about Thursday nights. I don't have a lock on it. I don't have a lock on Thursdays. What's going on with Thursday nights? What is it? What I was trying to talk about was the one time I went on a first date with someone and I said at the beginning of the date, I'm only interested in a sexual relationship. Now how did I arrive at saying that? Fabulous question. The whole idea of going on the date was my therapist's idea, who said, just go out on a date, ask someone out on a date. But what if I'm not interested? That doesn't matter. Just ask them out on a date. Just do it. Do it for the experience. Now, if he had said do it for the experience of comedy, because that's the way to generate material, frankly, then I would have been more on board. But at the time, and still, I'm kind of not. You know what? Here's the thing. It bothers me if I ask somebody out on a date and I'm doing it for the quote-unquote experience, but not because I really want to be with them on a date. It feels like a lie because it is a lie. And looking back on it, if I really wanted to be honest, as soon as I asked her out on the date, I should have said, hey, my therapist says I should ask anybody out just for the experience of it, and, well, you're nearby, and so I'm going to ask you out. Which sounds worse, as bad as, if not worse. See, this is the thing. I don't like lying. I don't like lying. So, I ask her out on the date, and then the other thing that my therapist tells me is that as long as I'm honest with the person, then I don't have to feel guilty. Well, looking back on it, I was dishonest with the person because I shouldn't have asked them out on the date in the first place. So I'm sitting there at the beginning of the date saying, just to let you know, I only want to have a sexual relationship with you. And then she said, I don't want a sexual relationship. And we had dinner, and that was it. At TGI Fridays, this happened. This is the most unromantic series of events. The fact that it was at a TGI Friday, the fact that it was at approximately, I want to say 4:30 or 5 in the afternoon. Also, just layer upon layer upon layer of bad decisions on my part. And if I had to do it over again, but I don't have that ability. If I had to do it over again, I would not have asked her out. Because what I should be doing is I should be asking out people who I genuinely want to go out with. And if I am not interested, then I don't go out with them. That seems to be the healthier way to go about doing this. But on his side, to play devil's advocate to the therapist, I think his plan was that if I just go out more and get used to it, and just get used to asking, the fear of asking someone out will lessen and it will get easier. And I'm suddenly feeling very sad because I don't know that it is ever going to get easier for me. And when I think about it, there's just I'm not really, if I'm attracted to someone, 9 times out of 10, it just doesn't feel like the right moment to ask them out or the right situation. So I think I feel sad because I feel very helpless. And the irony is I don't want help. I hate it when people try to fix me up or say, you should do this, you should do that. I hate people trying to help. Well, this has gotten depressing quickly. This is supposed to be a comedy podcast, for God's sake. So I made a promise to myself after that experience that I'm not going to do that ever again. I'm only going to ask out people I want to ask out. And I think after that I went out on maybe one more date and nothing for the next, well, until now, really. There have not been any other dates since then. And I don't know. I always, like right now, there's this weird rash on my penis that I think is the result of, without going into too much detail, a bit too much friction. But now I'm sitting there thinking, I can't go out on a date now because should things go well, and then this is going to be embarrassing. So, you know, people tell me what I should do. That I should just, you know, go out on 10 dates. Just go out on 10 dates. So that I can be stressed and embarrassed 10 times. What a plan. But now I'm just feeling sorry for myself. Which I'm not allowed to do either. I'm supposed to have a positive attitude. You need to have a positive attitude. You need to go out there. You need to have confidence. I don't want to have confidence. Stop telling me to have confidence. I've never felt confident. I don't feel confident right now, and I don't want to fake confidence. I hate faking confidence. Only thing I'm confident about is not feeling confident. I'm a ball of terror and shame. Who wants to date that? Get in line, ladies. But then I wonder how much of this is, in fact, a cover. Because in my deepest private moments, I fantasize about being, you know, passionate. And that we passionate encounters where nails are scratching into the skin, causing blood. And the next morning, I'm going, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I scratched you. Here, let's get some ointment on that. Actually, I'd rather that she scratch me. I don't want to scratch her because that could be a lawsuit. I would rather that she scratches, that she's so passionate, or I am making her so passionate that she scratches me. Which then then I got to put ointment on that, but not in front of her because I don't want her to, I don't want her to think that, I don't want her to feel self-conscious about that. I would wait until she would leave. Afterwards, I would put an ointment on it to make sure that it doesn't get infected. And then it would be, probably sitting on any kind of chair with a back would be difficult, depending on how deep the scratch was. But even there, the problem with that is, if she was that passionate to the point that it was scratching me, I would probably go, oh God, oh, wait a minute, ow, 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 ow. I would not be able to handle the nails. These people who don't use the crosswalks, what do we make of them? I've done the same thing. But I'll usually do it if there's no traffic. This woman just did it with traffic. All right, here's what I'm thinking. I'm having diarrhea again. I didn't even do anything bad yesterday. Still having diarrhea. So I'm terrified that it's an illness. It's either this or constipation. I don't know. My intestines are not very good at the middle way. My intestines need to meditate. So that's happening. On top of the fact that I'm told that I need to just ask anyone out. What are we going to talk about? I mean, anything I would talk about on the date is what I am talking about with you right now. With you right now. This is the conversation. Not very romantic. But what am I going to do? Am I the guy? You know, I say this. I should be the guy who's romantic. I actually have memorized Shakespeare's sonnets that I could quote at women. Let me not into the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love when it alters and an alteration finds or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no! It is an ever-fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark, whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken. Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out, even to the edge of doom. If this be error and upon me proved, I never writ, nor no man ever loved. Now, instead of saying that to her, I said, I only want a sexual relationship. I don't think the level of poetry is comparable. I think there's a disparity there. I think what I said, certainly not an iambic pentameter. Yeah. Nope, 12 syllables instead of 10. So it doesn't scan, that's for sure. Damn it! I still think about that and I still say to myself, damn it! We ran into each other like 10 years later. And we had a nice conversation, and we were actually sitting at a coffee shop, we were both working on stuff. And the entire time we were having a conversation. Because I should also point out the other thing that happened with her was that a few days later, after this horrible date that I put her through, I tried to make the move on her. And we were sitting outside at a park, and I was like, okay, I'm going to touch your knee now. All right, and now I'm going to gently massage your shoulder now. That's literally what I did. It was like I was an announcer at a game, and the game was a guy with no game. And then she finally said, listen, this is This has to be spontaneous. This isn't working. And I said, okay. And then I didn't talk to another woman for 10 years. But anyway, after all of this happens, we meet up 10 years later, just randomly. And we're having a nice, pleasant conversation. And the entire time in my brain, I'm thinking, I said to this woman, I only want a sexual relationship. And then a few days later, I asked permission to touch her knee. That is what my brain was shouting. How are we just talking like that didn't happen? So yeah, this is why I hesitate in social situations. That's what my 4th grade teacher said to my parents. He hesitates in social situations. Well, do you see why? I think if she saw all that, she'd go, you know what? I think your impulse to hesitate in social situations is a good one. Continue hesitating. He who hesitates is lost. In your case, he who hesitates really avoids making it difficult for the other person. He who hesitates is being polite. Oh my God. I don't have a lot of experience, obviously, with dating with women. But the weird thing about that is I'm 37. I'm 3 years away from 40. And so it's the older I get, the more I think to myself, I don't want to waste time. And even if I meet someone who I hit it off with, I don't feel like I hit it off with anybody that I meet anymore. Every conversation is a chore of some kind. Every conversation is a chore. So I don't even know what it means to hit it off. Actually, all this, I'm finally understanding my dad. Because we'll sit there and just not talk. And I'm realizing, you know what? I don't think there's anything to talk about. I think he just likes sitting there. Not talking. My mother will talk forever. On and on and on and on and on and on. I don't even need to be in the room. I will leave the room, and she will continue having the conversation with I don't know who. Non-stop. For a good 15, 20 minutes. So I think when my dad is hanging out with me, and we don't talk, I used to think, oh, he's emotionally closed off. He's not expressing anything. Now I'm beginning to think it's just he wants to rest. I need the silence. He's like, hey, do you want to go somewhere and be silent? That's a window into my family. Oh, man. Friday, what are you going to do with it? All right, well, I'm a little behind schedule, but not too bad. Now the question is, do I eat something? I don't know. Does it matter? I mean, anything I do, I'm giving diarrhea at this point. Who wants to date this? I got a rash on my penis. I've got diarrhea. One of the very last things I said on one of the last dates I went on is I only want a sexual relationship. How am I not killing it with women? How am I not killing it? I ask you, I put it to you, how am I not killing it? All right. Well, I think we've done enough of this for today.